Alright. Okay, we're back into it now. What was I doing? No, not that. What was I doing? Secret... Okay, secret room. Okay, that's what we're doing. Yeah, because last time we were talking to Kyoko. And actually seems to have forgiven us. Or forgiven me, at least. Anyone else here?
Just a second.
Oh. This isn't where we need to go.
Hey.
Okay, you're right. Come on, we have to hurry. Alright, alright. You're right, you're right. Da, ba, ba. It's a great song. Oh shit. Genocide jail. What the hell?
Have you reached that certain age?
What? My obsession. What are you doing? Living? I see. Anyway, I'm headed back to my room. I'll just be there, living, totally calm. Holy fuck, I don't like her.
Hey,
Hey, Makoto.
why?
Are you sure all the documents are gone? I refuse to believe. Yeah, they're gone. I saw it happen. He was looking at some of the stuff, then some guy in a mask creeped up behind him, smacked him in the head with a fucking crowbar or something, and now it's all gone. Let's go look. You don't believe me? And if they are there, then, you know, that works for me. If someone's trying to fuck with my head. Go and check again. What?
Listen to me.
Just hurry up and go, and to make sure you don't run off, I'm gonna wait right here. Oh, I get it. She's acting. God damn. She was so forceful. I thought I'd made her mad again somehow.
Just a second.
Were you just standing there? Hurry up and go. Why are you just standing there? Okay, I'm going.
So then,
And be thorough. I'm counting on you. Oh, wait, there it is. Yep, all gone. Couple papers, but that's it. Okay, first we have to find the network cable. Oh boy, this is not good. Okay, yeah, I remember now. The whole idea is to hook Alter Ego up to the school's network, but I swear that's not a good idea. There were so many documents here before, and now, nothing. Who took them? And why? I don't see anything else. According to Kyoko, there should be a bunch of cables in this drawer. Found it. This is a network cable, right? Yeah, an Ethernet cable. Now we just need to connect Alter Ego. I immediately got to work. I pulled out the laptop and connected it to the Ethernet port with the cable. And that should do it. Yes?
That's right.
Yeah, I think it worked.
Leave it to me.
Just leave the rest to me. I swear I'll find something. I might even be able to connect to the outside world. If I can, I'll see if I can call for help.
So,
Hope you have a proxy set up. Probably not, but... So please, just wait a little while longer.
I'm
Just
gonna
hold-
do my best.
Just hold tight and put your faith in me. As I was about to leave, I decided to leave him with one last thing. No matter what, we're gonna get out of here. You and all the rest of us as friends. Friends? Even me?
Thank you.
Thank you, Makoto.
Makoto.
How'd it go? Well, it went okay, but all the documents were gone. just like I told you. My reply was was an unintentional mix of acting and real feelings.
Correct.
I see. Then there's nothing left for us here.
Goodbye.
Before I knew it, Kyoko was walking away. She wasn't acting anymore. That much was for sure. Ah, Kyoko!
What?
So we're just gonna split up?
Why is that?
Of course. I have no reason to stay with you at this point. Well, maybe, but isn't that a little too direct?
Phew.
Should I hesitate and fumble for something to say? You're so high maintenance. That's not what I meant. I just had more I wanted to talk to you about. Like, what are you gonna do about Sakura?
It's true.
Well, something has to be done. It's true.
However,
But the way things are right now, there's no way to persuade anyone. They don't have the mind to listen. Then what should we do? Then what should we...
so
Or we can find some new clue that will likely change the situation. That's all we can hope for right now. Which is why alter ego.
correct.
All we can do is wait and believe in our friends. You're right. That's our only option. Yes, our friends. We parted ways and I headed back to my room. Oh, it's still daytime. That's good. I'm kinda tired. So I lay down in bed. Maybe it's because of the stress of moving alter ego, but I was way more tired than I realized. So before long at all, I had completely dozed off. Oh, what now? Huh? The sharp sound of the doorbell pierced my sleepy haze and pulled me back to the real world. Who could that be? No, so once I actually answer the door and not just hit the circle button.
Makoto.
Yeah. Makoto, get out of here. Get out here. Kyoko? What's going on?
Indeed.
Hina just came to see me, and she was white as a ghost. Oh boy. I'm guessing it was Sakura. It sounds like something's happened. What? As soon as I heard those words, my heart started to beat a little faster. I suddenly found myself wide awake. She said for us to come to the rec room. The rec room? Okay, let's hurry. Are we? Makoto. Kyoko. Hina, what's wrong? Something's not right. In the rec room. What's inside? There's a window on the rec room door, and I hurried to look inside. Oh boy. And when I did... Sakura? Is she unconscious? Was it the poison? You guys mentioned poison before, right? It's kind of a scary scene though, seeing someone as big and strong as her just sitting there like that. She's sitting up in the chair like she's bowing her head.
Hey,
What's going on? Did something happen to her?
Huh?
I was just walking past and happened to notice her through the window. But I couldn't get the door open. I tried knocking, I tried calling her name, but she wouldn't respond. So what should we do? What are we gonna do?
anyway,
First of all, we need to get into that room. The door's locked, right? And if we break in, we'll be violating school regulations. Didn't he say no? Didn't he say that it's against the rules to break down the headmaster's door?
listen to me.
We're going to force our way in. I just said
Wrong.
the door isn't locked. It's not locked because the rec room door doesn't have a lock. Huh? And then why? She must have barricaded it.
It would seem.
It feels like the door is pressing up against something inside the room. Is it the chair? Chair?
In other words,
Either way, this door isn't locked, which means, as far as I can tell, the rule doesn't apply. Then, there's no problem if we break in.
indeed.
Let's smash the window. That should be the fastest way. Isn't that still destruction of property? Isn't that a rule itself? No destruction of property? Okay, I'll go get something to break it with. Wait right here. Inside the rec room, Sakura still hadn't moved an inch. I'd hate to say it, but... she's just unconscious. Right? Is she okay? I mean, it's Sakura, so I'm sure. Kyoko didn't reply, obviously. Sorry I had to yawn. There was only silence. But that silence didn't last long. Here! I found a broom in the classroom. Use it.
Makoto.
You can handle this, right, Makoto?
Please.
Come on, please hurry. Okay, you two stand back. I took hold of the broom and swung as hard as I could. Aiming directly at the window, all it took was one solid hit. The window shattered into 100 pieces, scattering across the rec room floor. Sorry. I have to keep yawning. I stuck my hand through the now open window and started jostling the chair leaning against the door. The chair's pretty heavy, but I can just... I pushed on it with all my strength, and finally, the knob turned. Sakura! I ran up to her as fast as I could, but the moment I laid my hand on her... She's smiling? Yeah, she's gone. All I felt was cold death. I could feel only the last lingering warmth of a living body. Life had abandoned Sakura's body. And then... Here we go, kids.
A body had been discovered. After a certain amount of time, which you may use however you like, the class trial will begin.
Chapter 4, All-Star Apologies. Who is that behind Aoi? Is that supposed to be Makoto?
Huh? Sakura's. Sakura's dead?
Yeah.
She's really dead?
I heard Hina talking, but my eyes stared steadily forward. I could only look on at Sakura's dead body. We didn't make it in time. It's happened again. Muttering to herself, Kyoko began to gently inspect Sakura's body. I wondered, was she confirming that Sakura really was dead? Checking for a pulse? Or a reaction? Aoi is just out of it. I have to get them. I have to go get them. Oh no. I have to go get the others. On shaky legs, Hina left the rec room. And I? Why? Why did this have to happen? That's all I could say. I repeated it over and over again.
I
Need to examine Sakura's body. I just stood there motionless behind her while she checked Sakura's corpse. time passed. While I stood there, unable to do a thing, time just passed. And after I don't know how long, I got everyone. Ogre!
Yes, yes.
Oh, so she's dead, huh?
I see.
Sakura's been killed? I see. As soon as they arrived, Kyoko began.
Just a second.
You heard the announcement just now, right? So you know what this means.
Interesting.
Sakura was murdered, and by someone in this very room. Is that what you were going to say?
Huh?
No! Whoever killed her, it's not just someone in this room.
It's your fault.
It was one of you. Hiro, Byakuya, Toko. One of you killed Sakura. You're accusing us before we've even begun the investigation? I don't need to investigate anything. Because you hated her. You hated the sight of her.
I won't forgive you.
One of you did it. I know it. You know it. Who is this? Oh. Jeez. I didn't know your power level would increase by that much just by getting mad.
What the heck?
What are you doing here?
Come on.
Isn't it obvious? I'm going to hand out my little murder flyer. Murder flyer.
It's the Monokuma file.
Alright. And don't get so mad, Miss Asahina, or you're gonna ruin that lewd little face of yours. Please stop it now. Now then, with that Hold on. There's something I want to ask you. It was you, wasn't it? You killed Sakura.
Say what?
Sakura wanted to challenge the mastermind to a duel. Maybe you and her fight again, and then...
In other words,
Then I killed her. Sorry, not quite. Actually, not even close. That whole thing is totally irrelevant now. Sakura came to a most regrettable end without even getting the chance to finish things with me. Which, thank God for that. It saved me the trouble of having to go through it without a little fight. Because, even for someone like me, it would have been no mean feat to take down a behemoth like that.
hey,
I gotta tell you, I was actually pretty worried. I mean, she violated a rule by attacking me in the first place, but I wasn't able to punish her. Wait, why not? Why weren't you able to punish her? Because when Junko attacked you, you killed her right away. So I don't know who it was, but whoever the blackened is this time, I owe you one. Wouldn't you know who it was?
what is this?
You owe them one. Oopsie. Before you get all pissy potty at me, you better figure out who did it first. Because I mean, your lives are all on the line, right?
What is this?
What the hell? He owes them one?
I won't forgive you.
I hate him. I hate this whole thing. Well, I, for one, am glad it was Sakura. She's working for the mastermind, after all. How can you say that now? Sorry, I don't have time for your squabbling. The next game has already begun. If you want to be angry at someone, be angry at whoever killed Sakura.
Anyway,
But right now, our top priority needs to be uncovering Sakura's killer. What I feel like it might have been suicide. I don't know. If we can't do that, we're all dead. Now let's decide who will stand guard this time. I'll do it. Hina? I'm okay. Just let me handle it. Besides, I want to be here with Sakura.
That's fine.
Okay, then Hina's guard number one. But we need one more. Kyoko, that's you.
what?
Me? You're always a thorn in my side. This time, just stand by and watch quietly. Consider that an order. Fuck you. Who the fuck are you? An order?
That's fine.
Fine. I'll stay behind. Then it's settled. Let's begin, shall we? Hold on. Before that, there's something I want to say,
What?
which is Hiro, Byakuya, Toko, none of you are allowed to step foot in the crime scene.
It's your fault!
One of you killed Sakura.
I won't forgive you.
I won't let someone like that come anywhere near her.
Stop talking.
Don't be stupid. Our lives are in just as much danger as yours. We have every right to investigate. I don't care what you say. I'm not letting the one who killed Sakura anywhere near her. Even if it means I have to use force, you're not getting in here. Well, it appears further discussion would be a waste of time. How about a compromise?
It's all clear now.
I won't ask you to let us all. I won't ask you to let all of us in. Just let me. You don't really care, do you? You're both useless anyway.
Yep.
Nope. Don't really care. I'd rather spend my time coming up with another splendid fantasy involving Master anyway. Ugh. And you, Hero? Do you really object? If you're gonna go that far, what can I do? I mean, I don't have anything to hide, so why should I care?
It's all clear now.
Then it's decided.
What are you saying?
Nothing's decided.
Calm down.
I know how you feel, Hina, but you should agree to his request. But
Hey,
we have to find out who killed Sakura.
correct.
For those of us still alive, and to honor Sakura's memory. Fine. I guess that's okay. But no matter what, Byakuya, you absolutely aren't allowed to touch her. Naturally. Who would want to touch a filthy dead body?
Listen,
That's enough fighting. We need to focus on the investigation from here on out. Everyone keep this in mind. If we can't uncover Sakura's killer,
listen to me.
all of us face execution. Finding out who killed Sakura. It's not a matter of hoping we can do it. If we want to survive, we have to do it. It's kind of hopeless hope. We have no choice but to just do it. Kind of interesting that they kept Sakura's body in that kind of FMV style, whereas Kyoko was in standard art style. Anyway, I bet you they want Kuma file before anything else. The victim was Sakura Ogami. The time of death is estimated to be around 12 noon. The body was discovered in the rec room on the 3rd floor of the school. There's evidence of a strong blow to the victim's head. No other injuries were noted. However, it seems that at some point the victim suffered from violent vomiting of blood. Okay, so it was poison. I'm fairly sure Sakura committed suicide.
Hey,
I think this case might be a challenge. Why's that?
so
The only way into the rec room is the door we just came through. And that door has been jammed shut with a chair from inside the rec room. Which means the killer would have had to escape somehow after barring the door. So the door was blocked from the inside, and there was no way in or out till we broke the window. There's like zero escape, right? Unless there's some sort of hidden passage here.
in other words,
This is a classic locked room murder. Locked room murder? I guess you might see this kind of thing a lot in mystery movies or books or whatever, or video games. But could it really happen in real life? And right before our very eyes like this?
hey,
Are you curious to hear more about what a locked room murder entails? Sure, if you don't mind.
that's fine.
When you break down this kind of murder mystery, there are 4 basic types. The first type is when the locked room is created after the actual crime is committed. This simply means that the killer commits his crime, then through some special method, seals the room. This mainly involves some sort of trick involving the locking of the room. Basic approaches include using a string or simple mechanism. There are a number of variations. So for that, all we'd have to do is check the door to see if that's what it was, right?
Correct.
The second type is when the locked room already exists before the crime is committed. Oh?
In other words,
Basically, the killer uses a special contraption or tool from outside to target the victim inside. You push a switch and it fires a handgun. You shoot an arrow through a gap in the door, something like that.
however,
But in this case, that doesn't seem to fit. There are no guns or arrows in the school, and the door doesn't have any gap that would allow it. Yeah, I think we can probably cross that one off the list. Yeah, especially since you guys had to break in here in order to get into the room to begin with.
It's true.
The third type is when the killer stays in the room until it's opened up. What do you mean by that?
In other
What do you mean by that? They stay hidden, and when the door is open, they use confusion to blend in with the group. Exactly. Happens all the time in Assassin's Creed. They pretend they showed up along with everyone else, and that's that. That sounds like it could have been possible. Maybe. It couldn't have been. The only one in here was Sakura.
It's true.
And then the fourth and final type is when it wasn't actually a locked room at all. Not a locked room.
In other words.
By that, I mean there's actually there's an alternate escape route somewhere within the room. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe there's a secret passage in here somehow. You see there's a lot of novels and things, but in reality, it's genuinely not possible. I wouldn't say that. Secret passages are a thing in real life, but it is somewhat far-fetched. Do you think we can cross that one off too?
Indeed.
I believe so, yes. So, when it comes to locked room mysteries, those are the basics. So there are 4 possibilities. Then, Kyoko, which of those 4 choices seems the most likely in this case?
It's true.
That's a good question. Answering that should be our primary focus during this trial. But right now, I can't really say. I see. The way the killer set up the locked room, until I figure that out, the truth behind Sakura's death will stay hidden. It's definitely a tough mystery. I need to concentrate and investigate as much as I can. For Sakura, if nothing else. And like I said, I'm pretty sure she might have committed suicide. We already know who did it.
I won't forgive you.
Byakuya, Toko, or Hiro. It had to be one of them. They couldn't stand the sight of her. You agree with me, don't you, Makoto? Well, I don't want to say anything for sure without finding out more. Yeah, that made him mad. Then let me help you find out more. You see, Sakura asked all 3 of them to meet with her. You know where? Right here in the rec room. Really? Is that true? What? After I went to the nurse's office this morning, Sakura and I both left together, right? Well, eventually, she went off on her own. But when I saw her again after that, she told me. She said she left a note for each of them. She asked them to meet her in the rec room by noon. By noon? The Monokuma file said she died right around then. I'm telling you the truth. I heard it right from Sakura herself. And I tried to stop her. But she wouldn't listen. She said not to worry, that she just wanted to talk to them. And this is what happened. If I'd stopped her, by force even, this never would have happened. Hina. It's impossible not to have regrets, I know. Alright. But the fact that she had asked those 3 to meet with her, and she asked them to come to the rec room at noon, the same time and place that she ended up dying, it might be good to confirm what I just heard with the 3 of them directly. Oh boy. How many are left now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's just 6 left. Holy fuck, there's just 6. And then someone's gonna die after this. Or unless, if I was right and Sakura just committed suicide. But if someone did kill her, it's gonna be down to just 5 people. Holy fuck, man. God damn it, Junko. If you just left him alone, we could have an even number. It could be 7 people right now. Alright. Wait, let me... Well, I got 6 pages for her. That's cool. Let's see. Info. Getting sick is for wimps. When it gets cold, I shed my layers. I hear when people whisper behind my back and call me a super spaz, but so what? She's adorable. I love her so much. The best part of sports isn't winning, it's the fight. So I want to be part of the toughest fight possible. The fight for the gold. Even if that makes me a super gold spaz, I'm gonna go for it. When you run out of energy, you need sugar. That's why I love donuts. And so does the world. No, the entire universe. Donuts are the lifeblood of all humanity. Right? Not exactly, Aoi. Ramen's totally a snack. A real man doesn't bellyache about, oh, boo-hoo, this has so many calories. When it comes to food, don't get in my way. She seems really obsessed with her weight these days. She's trying to stick to a diet, but it must be really hard for her. I have the most pages for Aoi. That's cool. I don't think this game has new. I don't think this game has New Game Plus or anything. But I'm wondering if any of this carries over if I did start a new game.
However,
But for Sakura to have been killed, yeah, she's not the type to go down without a fight.
it's true.
And she certainly didn't, I would say. She was the ultimate martial artist, strong in body, mind, and spirit. So how was the killer able to get the upper hand on her? I wonder, did someone get the upper hand on her? Upper hand? It must have taken her by surprise, right?
Certainly.
They would have needed to if they expected to stand any chance against her. I also say, excuse me, I also say suicide.
What?
What do you want? You're bothering me. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Make it quick. Is it true that Sakura asked you to meet her in the rec room? So you found out. Interesting. What's interesting about that? Then it's true? I did receive a note to that effect, yes. What fool would do what it said and risk being killed by that monster? So you didn't go see her? Of course not. I ripped the note to shreds and threw it away. I haven't seen Sakura today at all. Byakuya says he didn't go see her. Is that the truth? Well, until I can prove otherwise, I have no choice but to accept it as fact.
Come on.
If you're all finished, please remove yourself from my sight. Okay, thanks. Alright, well, while we're in here... There's a bloodstain in front of the magazine shelf. It must have come from Sakura, right? That doesn't make sense. Why is it so far away from where she died? Because according to the Monokuma file, she vomited profusely, apparently. So maybe that's where she vomited, and then she sat down. There were shards of glass scattered all around the chair Sakura was sitting on. Okay, that looks terrible right there. Like just the angle Sakura's cut out compared to the chair or the couch, love seat. Anyway, hold on for a second, folks. As I take care of something. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I had to take a phone call for a second. Okay, so yes, Sakura's cutout looks very bad up in that chair, just the angle of it. But anyway, there were shards of glass scattered all around the chair Sakura was sitting on. The glass is all red, and these are the top and bottom sections of a bottle, right? So this must have originally been a bottle. It did say she took a blow to the head, so maybe someone hit her with it. Huh? There's something else on the ground near the glass. I thought it was that checkerboard thing, but I guess this figure? It's a figure. It fits in the palm of my hand. Was that chess piece? It's a Monokuma figure. And this thing here. This looks like some kind of wrapper.
Huh?
Ah, that's... Do you recognize it, Hina?
Well,
Well, yeah. I mean, I gave it to her. That's a candy wrapper. Sakura got super upset when she found out Genocide Jack had attacked me, right? So after we left the nurse's office, I gave it to her. I thought it might help her calm down a little. So you gave that candy to Sakura? I found a big box of it in the warehouse. I really like them. Actually, as soon as we could get into the warehouse, I took the entire box back to my room. I made sure nobody else could get their hands on them. You really like them that much?
'cause, I mean,
But I wanted Sakura to get a chance to try one for herself. That's why I gave it to her. But now, they've lost all their flavor. Hina. Polka dot candy wrapper. This. Yeah. Protein Zyme X. There's some kind of plastic container rolling around near the entrance to the room.
So,
It looks like a protein drink, and it's empty. Sakura must have drank it. Everyone knows how much she loved her protein. And she mentioned more than once how protein was good for all sorts of ailments.
wrong.
I wouldn't take that to heart if I were you. I know. You know what? I'll call Joe Rogan. I'll see what he says. But still, this protein can. It's got a label on it. It's got a label on it that says Chem A2. That reminds me. Sakura mentioned how the chem lab had all kinds of health stuff. So she must have gotten this from the chem lab.
Just a second.
But that's strange. Huh? What is it?
Hey,
You see what's scattered around the can? Was it more glass? Shards of light blue glass. There must be parts of the window I broke to get inside.
correct.
But they aren't just scattered around the can, they're also underneath it. And why does that matter?
So,
I can't say for sure yet, but you're probably going to want to take note of it. I feel like it'll become an important clue later on. An important clue? I'm not sure I see how. Empty protein drink. So, as far as I can see, that's it. Anything up here? Oh, yeah. I forgot about. I actually did see these earlier on. There were 4 red bottles lined up on the shelf. Yeah, one's missing. Yeah, each with a figure of a chess piece. Pawn, rook, knight, bishop, and king. And the knight piece is missing. That's the one on the floor. And inside each bottle there's some kind of Monokuma figure. What I'm wondering is, how'd they get those figures inside the bottles?
so,
Not that that's really important right now, but it's no different from your standard chip in the bottle. Yeah, so I was figured. I don't know if this is the case for all of them, but some chips in the bottle can actually fold up and become flat, so they can be pushed into the bottle. And then once they're in, they usually have some sort of trigger or string you can pull on that'll re-inflate them, so to speak. And then some people are maniacs and they decide to construct a ship within the bottle itself rather than having it fold up. I learned that from Bernstein Bears. It's no different from your standard ship in the bottle. Huh? You know, where the bottle's opening is smaller than the boat placed inside? You never seen that? Oh yeah, maybe I have. Yeah.
in other words,
So this is the Monokuma version of that. A Monokuma bottle, if you will. I feel like I'm finally starting to make sense of things little by little. The Monokuma bottle sitting on the shelf. The Monokuma figure we found on the ground. The red shards of glass, which probably started out as a bottle. Which would mean Sakura must have been hit in the head with the Monokuma bottle, right? The shards of glass and the Monokuma figure are evidence of that. So I think it's safe to say that the Monokuma bottle was the weapon. Anything in here? I never saw this before, actually, this locker. How long has this been here? Huh? The locker's open, and there on the inside, it's a handprint?
Why?
Several handprints, actually. What's a handprint doing here? Looks like someone touched the inside of the locker and left a handprint in all the dust. Dust or chalk? I don't, or maybe dried chemicals.
It's true.
And it looks quite fresh too. I'd say someone was hiding in here in the locker and they left behind a little something extra. So then, maybe the killer hid in here until the locked room was open, don't you think? And during all the confusion, they popped out and joined the rest of the group. How though, dude? There was only Hiro, Toko, and Byakuya came in through the main door, and you and Kyoko were the only ones here. Like, Aoi went to go get the others. So who could have done that?
Wrong.
Unfortunately, that's not a possibility. Yeah, you're being very stupid right now, Makoto. Huh? Why not? Because of what I just said.
Hey,
Think back. Before we opened the door, we looked inside the room, right? Oh yeah, the locker was already open at that point.
indeed.
So there's no way someone could have hidden in there until after we opened the door. Dummy. Yeah. So then, what does this handprint mean? I don't think there's anything else. I better talk to Toko and fuck the Hero. Okay, well, what else is there to examine? It's around 1 o'clock right now. According to the Monokuma file, Sakura died around 12 noon, so roughly an hour ago. Was that when Kyoko and I were moving alter ego? Not Aoi. Oh, the magazines themselves, and that's just the blood? That same shelf full of magazines. There's all different kinds of magazines here. Oh, you know what? I never did examine Sakura herself, did I? Sakura drew her last breath sitting slumped forward in this chair. There's obvious evidence of the blow to the head Sakura suffered. Normally, I wouldn't have any problem believing that that's what killed her. But according to the Monokuma file, she had also vomited blood. And I can see a trace of blood on her lips for sure. So, what would have caused her to vomit blood? The Monokuma file specifically said she hadn't suffered any other injuries. Maybe her getting hit in the head somehow caused her to stop vomiting blood. Well, I'm no biological expert. I mean, maybe, but I don't think that's how it works. Not a chance. Byakuya.
That's fine.
However, your eyes have landed on a most interesting location. Interesting?
Naturally.
Yes, most interesting. Don't you agree? No, I don't think I'd call it interesting. But it does make me wonder. The reason Sakura vomited blood absolutely has to be connected to why she died. Yeah, the poison, like I said. There is that protein zyme X over there. That had to be, well, it's protein. Well, no, protein zyme X. But Sakura and Aoi spoke. They were talking like they knew what it was already. So I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Well, how much more do you want me to examine? Dr. Byakuya again?
Don't make me repeat myself.
Yes, I did receive a note. But what fool would do what it said and risk being killed by that monster? See, everything goes. Yeah. Okay. This chair? The chair was shoved up against the doorknob, so we couldn't get the door open. There's no evidence that any kind of string or mechanism was used on the chair. In other words, there's no reason to think the chair had anything special done to it. I say suicide, I'm just putting it out there. This door is the only way in or out of the rec room. The door doesn't have a lock, and there's no evidence that the mountings have been tampered with. The only notable change to the door is the smashed window, which happened, of course, when I broke it to get inside. There's no evidence that any kind of string or mechanism was used on the door. In other words, I don't see anything suspicious about the door itself. Having examined both the door and the chair, there's no doubt the reason the door didn't open was simply because the chair was shoved up against it. This kept the door not from turning and the door from opening. And there's no evidence of the door or chair being tampered with or anything like that. So the killer must have created the locked door from the inside, not from the outside. Rec room door.
Listen.
Well, Makoto, have you finished with your general investigation? Yeah, I think so. For the most part.
So then
Then you should probably go and talk with people now. I'm on guard duty, so I can't leave.
listen to me.
Which is why I've decided you'll go in my place. She's decided. She's gotten a lot more pushy since we had our issue. But she's right. After go talk to the others, Sakura wanted me to meet with two other people. I need to hear what they have to say. Let's go. Those other two probably went back to their rooms. Okay, no one here. Yasuhiro, let's see room. Alright, well, since I'm here, I guess I passed Toko's room by mistake. I pressed the doorbell. After a few seconds...
You know?
What's up, Makoto? Did you need something? Yeah, actually. I just wanted to check something. It's about how Sakura wanted to meet with you. How'd you know about that?
Could it be?
Did you maybe gaze into my soul? Have your special abilities awakened in you? But I'm not the only one she wanted to meet with. Olga told me herself that she asked Byakuya and Toko to come too. What? When did Sakura tell you that? Oh, well... when she asked me to meet with her, of course. But didn't she write you a note? Yeah, a note. She, Dude, did you kill her? Because your story is all over the fucking place right now.
How about that?
She gave it to me in person. And she happened to mention the others, like, in passing. I gotta be honest, this is super suspicious. Of course it's super suspicious. So then you went and met with Sakura.
You got it all wrong.
No way, I totally didn't. Why would I ever do that? Yeah, definitely suspicious.
Actually,
The last time I saw Olga was when Hina got hurt and I took her to the nurse's office.
don't look at me.
I haven't seen her since then. While I'm here, could you show me the note she gave you? While I'm here, can you show me the note she gave you? Do I still have it? Let's see. Hiro was feeling around in his pockets.
Hey, come on.
Ah, sorry. Looks like I don't have it anymore. With a big, goofy smile on his face, he pulled his hands back out of his pockets. But when he did, I saw something flutter to the ground. Something had fallen out of Hiro's pocket. Yasuhiro, did you kill Sakura?
What?
Quick as the wind, Hiro snatched it back up again and shoved it back into his pocket.
Hey, come on.
Sorry, just a bit of trash I forgot to throw out. Trash? Anyway, I can't deny that Olga asked me to meet with me, but I never went. So, well, if you'll excuse me. Before waiting for a reply, Hiro quickly stepped back into his room. Hiro said that was just trash, but there's no way that's all there was to it. Pocket trash. So Sakura gave you a note to meet with her? Yes, she did. But then she actually told you to your face what the note said. Yeah, she did. So why would she give you a note if she's going to tell you what she wanted you to do anyway? Or why would she, or if she's going to tell you what she's going to do anyway, why would she give you a note? Is any of this making any sense to you, Yasuhiro? I probably should avoid pestering people too much. Hiro already told me. He said Sakura handed the note to him personally, but he never went to go meet with her. But he also said the last time he saw Sakura was when he took Hina to the nurse's office. So he contradicted himself. If she gave him the note in person, that would have been the last time. He's acting really suspicious. I think he must be hiding something. He's very clearly hiding something. Plus, there was whatever fell out of his pocket. He said it was a piece of trash, but I think there's more to it than that. Yeah, it's one of the candy wrappers that Aoi gave to Sakura. This is Sakura's room. Yeah. Oh, there's Toko's room. Hold on for a second. The door won't budge. Yeah. I just want to see what you would say for Sayaka's room. I pressed the doorbell. Do I want Toko or do I want Genocide Jill? Honestly, both of them are shitty people anyway. After a few seconds, it's Toko.
Who's there?
Ugh, the most negative aura I've ever felt. An aura of total decay.
Well, what do you want?
So you're back to normal. Genocide Jack isn't around anymore.
Not right now, at least.
Don't even say her name. It makes me sick to my stomach. I was in such a good mood, too.
Were you? She didn't look like she was in a good mood.
Hey, I was hoping to talk to you about something. Is now a bad time?
It's always a bad time with her, it seems. Obviously annoyed, Toko slithered out into the hall.
What do you want?
You said you wanted to talk to me about something. I want to talk about the fact that Sakura asked to meet with you.
Well,
I don't know what you're talking about. Byakuya already told me she asked to meet with him. She had asked to meet with him. What? She wanted to meet with Master too? Stop calling him that! I just said two, didn't I? Yes, you did. I guess now it's totally obvious, huh? You have a big fucking head, do you know that? Yeah, pretty much. So can you tell me about it? I admit, I did get the note. But I didn't go see her. I was scared, so I couldn't bring myself to go. Toko claims she didn't go to see her, but can I really believe her? Well, until I can prove otherwise, I have no choice but to accept it as fact. Is that good enough? Then I'm going back to my room. With that, Toko quickly retreated into her room. I want to see what everyone's rooms look like. Okay, so I've heard from Toko and Hiro. What next? I definitely have to look at the actual crime scene again, but on top of that, maybe we should find out more about the protein can we found on the floor of the rec room. I'm sure it must have come from the chem lab. So, where should I start? We'll go to the chem lab, honestly. See what we can find there. I said it before, what happens when it gets down to like 3 people and then one of those 3 people actually dies? Like, it's not gonna be a mystery about who did it. First, son of a bitch, I missed it again. I always do that. There it is. Just like Resident Evil. No, not this. Wait, where is it now? This is the 3rd floor. Oh, maybe this is the right way. Okay, yeah, here it is. To the chem lab. Where is it now? No, that's the data lab. That's the 5th floor. Can't go up there just yet. Headmaster's office. Music room. Where's the chem lab? Office. Data lab. What the hell is it? Oh, there it is. Jesus. God, what are you here? Why are you here? Makoto, did you have your eye on the chem lab too? Yeah, kind of. Just to make sure you don't get in my way. Just make sure you don't get in my way. Yeah, I got it. I think what you meant to say was, yes, sir, I understand. Suck all the dicks in the world, motherfucker. It's a big spill right here. This isn't my first time seeing the shelf, but I just can't get over how big it is. I should probably take a closer look at it. Looks like 3 shelves have been connected together to make one giant shelf. But more important right now, what's that powder that's been spilled in front of the shelf? I have to be careful not to step in it. Someone already has. There are footprints? And they're only in front of the left shelf. How do these footprints relate to the scene as a whole? We may need to sketch out the floor plan. By we, do you mean me? How kind of you to offer. With an insufferable smirk, he handed me a piece of paper and a pen.
What?
Well, let's go. Chop chop. Okay. Makoto, why are you being such a pushover? So I got to work, and before long, I drew up a sketch of the room. So, how's this? Not bad. For you, I mean. For me?
I see.
So, when you look at it like this, interesting. It would appear that whoever left these footprints only had business at the leftmost shelf. They came in, went straight to that shelf, did whatever they had to do, and then left. That's what the footprints tell me.
I see.
These footprints must be...
Certainly possible.
Makoto, are they yours? How can they be mine, asshole? No!
What?
Okay, then let me see your shoes, and I'll confirm their size for myself. I couldn't think of a reason not to, so I quietly did what Byakuya did. I see. Your feet do appear to be too big. They're too big? Okay, I was holding on to my suicide idea for Sakura, but if it's... Okay. Then honestly, for me, that only leaves 2 suspects. Either Toko or Aoi herself. Or possibly Kyoko, I forgot about her. Unfortunately, I must admit, these are not your footprints. Unfortunately. But with how clear these prints are, it should be quite easy to determine who they do belong to. And these prints are a really valuable clue. Let's see, Makoto is 5'3", 6'1", 6 feet even, 5'6". 5-3, 5-4. Huh. There's a broken bottom from the shelf. Is this where all the powder came from? Looks like it had a label on it. Chem C4. Would you like to hear something interesting? No, I don't. I was on the 4th floor this morning, checking things out, and at that point, this room wasn't like this. Then, this powder must have been spilled.
So, in other words,
That's right. It could only have been around the time of the incident. If that really is when it happened, it must be related to the case somehow. Source of the powder, C Chem 4. So on this shelf is, it looks like a bunch of chemicals that I have no idea what they are. The reagents. Reagents? But simply, they're used in experiments to bring about a chemical reaction. How have you lived in such ignorance for so long? It must truly be bliss. Fuck you, Byakuya. Isn't that kind of harsh?
what?
What? You think studying science and mathematics has no practical application in the real world?
That's fine.
The words of a lifelong loser, which I suppose suits you well. Please let Byakuya either be the blackened or just be killed next. I didn't even say that. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Right now I need to focus on the shelf. All the containers on the shelf are labeled with the letter B and a number. So I guess I can consider this part of the shelf as unit section B. Damn. So I guess I can consider this part of the shelving unit section B. I don't see anything out of the ordinary here. In which case, I don't think I have to worry too much about the shelf. Okay, so let's see section C. On this shelf is... One look and I can tell it's nothing but dangerous chemicals. These look like poisons and other powerful chemicals. All the containers on this shelf are labeled with the letter C and a number. So I guess I can say this part of the shelving unit, section C. Let's see, what's on this shelf? There are all kinds of dietary supplements, different medicines. The protein drink we found in the rec room probably came from this shelf. All the containers on the shelf are labeled with the letter A and a number. So I guess section A. Huh, but wait. There's one bottle here that's labeled Chem C9. Did someone have put it here on an accident? I should try to find out more about the shelving unit. It looks like it's split into 3 sections. Section A has dietary supplements, Section B has reagents, and Section C has lethal chemicals. Sakura must have gotten protein powder from Section A. What concerns me is that in Section A, there was a bottle with a label from Section. Okay, I think everything is. I think I'm back now. My Elgato just kind of glitched out on me for a second. It said the stream stopped for a second, so I restarted it. I hope everything is fine. Let me check for a second. Okay, I think everything's back to normal now. Sorry about that. Hope it stays that way. Also, and of course, typical fashion me, I forgot to update the stream title, so. Alright. I think everything's fine now. There's a bunch of yellow powder scattered on the floor. I better not leave a footprint. I should probably take a good hard look at that powder. There's a bunch of yellow powder scattered on the floor in front of the shelf. There's also the remains of a broken bottle. It looks like the bottle was labeled Chem C4. Also, it looks like someone left some footprints in the powder. Based on the positioning of the prints, whoever it was only went to the left side of the shelf. According to Byakuya, the powder would have had to have been spilled right around the time of the incident. That's all I can tell for now. I've already taken a good look at the chem lab. Maybe we should take a look at the rec room, around the rec room. Yeah, Byakuya, you still here? Of course you are.
I see.
Makoto, I admit you have a good eye for spotting useful clues. But you also need to learn how to make use of those clues. Shut up. Aggravating narcissistic cunt. Back to the rec room it is. Oh, it's right here.
Hey,
So Makoto, how's your investigation going? I told Kyoko what Toko and Hiro had told me. I need to figure out what keeps causing my damn stream to crash to begin with. Yeah, this is terrible. Anyway. We already know who did it. Byakuya, Toko, Hiro, every one of them. Let me save for a fucking second. That's the most bizarre damn thing. That looks like my stream just started over or something. Reset itself? Oh Christ, I have no idea what's going on. I'm just gonna power through. What was I doing? Okay, what more should I check? Oh, you know what, actually? Some kind of plastic container rolling around near the entrance of the room. Looks like a protein drink and it's empty. Sakura must have drank it. Everyone knows how much she loved her protein. It's still this protein can. This is Chem A2. Just really got into the chem lab.
Hey.
Just got in the pan.
correct. So,
I'm sure I'm probably gonna take note of it.
hey,
Okay, fine. I'll check them all again. I don't understand the issue. Maybe there's something on my end that I need to fix, which it probably is, but that's getting fucking aggravating the way it keeps stopping like that. Christ, I have no idea what's going on. I mean, you know, forget it. I'm just gonna power through and hope for the best, I guess. And I guess some sort of situation on my end I'm gonna have to fix. I think that's clearly what the case is. Let's see. Make sure to put it back exactly as I found it for the benefit of others who might come looking. Hey, is that says Toko, right? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, you know something? Alright, I don't know what's going on my end, but this stream, something's up with my stream, and I don't know how to fix it from, well, right now. I've been looking into this. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and stop things right now, and pick it up some other time. Because this is just frustrating to deal with.